October 5th, 2022, Wednesday. My name is Josh Grossman. With me, as always, Landon Rush, Jeff Hahn, and this is Fantasy Inception. Our special guest today is our producer, Chris Rowlands. Chris, thank you for joining us.
Hello. Clear, Chris Rowlands. Hi.
Yeah, he looks good.
Chris has been.
Teeth are a little yellow.
For those of you who don't know, Chris has been doing all of the production work that has really kicked this podcast into the next gear. So, Chris, thank you so much for all of that work you've done.
Blowing up in season 2 here. This is good stuff. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, it's honestly been fun. You know, as you guys have progressed with the podcast to the different editing things and seeing the views go up and the subscribers, and
that's just Landon clicking and then
over and over again.
Yeah, if anybody gets a job like full time coming from this podcast, it would probably be Chris.
Oh yeah,
for his production skills.
For sure, yeah.
Stop it, guys. Stop it.
Now get back to work, Chris. We have a loaded show, so we'll get right to it. Because it's Wednesday and we rarely get to do our show on Wednesday, we're going to first look at the waiver wire transactions that occurred and can shit talk to those who overspent. Jeff Hahn. So let me post it.
Dang it. Chris, did we get anything in the email box? Did we get anything in our fan mail or hate mail?
We didn't. We didn't even get any comments.
Not even a dick pic?
No. Well, mine.
Antonio
Several
Brown.
death threats. All right, guys, tell me, just shout it out, what was the best pickup here? What was the worst in terms of maybe overspend? And were there any big surprises? I know, it is. Chris, what do you think? Can you guys see? Is that big enough?
The best. So I thought Latavius Murray was a good pickup. I think it was you, wasn't it, Grossman?
Yeah, I think I've dropped him by now.
Then you dropped him.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
That's what Grossman does.
Which isn't terrible, but I'm not. I don't follow Indiana. How with Hines is he going to be their lead running back?
Chris? Jeff? Sorry. No, I'm just saying names.
Yeah, no, I think we're going to see. The thing about Hines is certainly he knows the offense, right? But the reason he's in the role he's in is he is the pass catching back. So the way I see it continuing to play out is he's going to continue to be the pass catching back. I personally think that we'll see Deion Jackson and Phillip Lindsay fill that 1-2 snap count workload, and then we'll continue to see Deion Jackson in the same role. I'm sorry, I say Deion Jackson. I meant Hines in the same role. So yeah, he might get a little more run, but I don't think it's going to be anything significant. Like people might be thinking he might all of a sudden get all of Jonathan Taylor's touches. So I think it might be like a 55, maybe 60-40 split. With Hines being that feature back, I guess. But I think we're going to see a lot of Phillip Lindsay and Deion Jackson, more than people are expecting at this point.
Yeah, my thinking behind that was I want upside. I don't want to hold on to someone and have to wait several weeks to see if it pans out. With Murray, there's 2 guys ahead of him. So at best, you're probably a couple weeks away before they would say, these guys suck, and we're going to go with Murray. I want to just be able to churn and burn that one last spot. And so if Taylor's out for more than a couple of weeks and Hines, surprises us, I agree with you, Jeff, in terms of what the likely outcome is. But if Hines surprises us and gets 10 carries and another 8 targets, that to me is worth it. But I definitely waste a lot of money on these.
And I'll add one thing to that, too, if you don't mind. I'll piggyback that a little bit. I think you're right. I think that Hines is a better pickup than Latavius Murray. And really, think about it. Lat Murray, he played overseas in London, okay? And not to mention he's like an aging back at this point. So he played overseas in London. Then he flew back, then he flew to Denver, right? So just a lot of travel in a short amount of
Lot of
time.
jet
Now we're
lag.
coming into a Thursday night game to where, that's just a very short window for him to have any sort of production, I don't think, going into this week. I think they're going to rely heavily on Mike Boone and Melvin Gordon, depending on his fumbleitis that he's currently experiencing.
Yeah. Chris, you spent a lot on Raheem.
I wanted Raheem.
I put a bid on him.
How much did you bid?
Yeah, what did you guys bid?
I bid 18.
Okay.
So I knew 30 was high, and I was fairly confident I was going to get him. I typically at the end of the year, I don't use all my budget anyways. Kind of like when I'm drafting.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured what the hell, I'm going to go a little bit high just to make sure I get him. I actually have Edmonds in another league. He hasn't done a whole lot. He's done a little, but I just have higher upside on Raheem.
And how much did you spend this today?
Yeah, so it was a grand total of $46, I believe.
Damn.
On Trevor Lawrence and
money,
Tyler
A
Algier.
little pricey. Obviously overspent on Trevor Lawrence. But, I'll go through it a little bit. I mean, I saw, obviously he had a down game against Philly, so he's coming off of that. And I was rolling with Goff. Goff has some serious, home road splits that kind of concerned me a little bit. And I didn't really want to be streaming. I really would prefer to have a guy that I could just plug and play every single week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking ahead at the Jacksonville Jaguars matchups, and they look pretty good in my opinion. So, I mean, Houston's on there twice. They got Indy. They got the Giants. Indy's pretty depleted on the defensive side of the ball. So, these are – I saw this as an opportunity to jump on a guy. Now, clearly I overspent, knowing that I could have got him for $1 instead of the 28. But I went down our league roster, and I kind of saw two teams that I thought were in desperate need of a quarterback, and I didn't want to lose him. So I'm happy I got my guy, but I certainly wish I could have saved a little bit of fab money there.
Yeah, no, I think it was the right move, and if he's looked good. It was bad weather against a really good defense in Philly, so other than that game, he's looked really good. The other one that
I really like Peterson as a coach there. I mean, he's a quarterback whisperer, as we saw in Philly, and with Wentz and Foles, and those guys they had a lot of success there in Philly, but then they've gone on to do not much else anywhere else, right? So,
and I mean the QB, I don't know what you would call it, but the QBs have been. I think in past years you were confident you were going to get, 18 points from a whole bunch of QBs. This year it's been 6 guys that you're really confident in, and then a whole bunch of guys in which they could give you 9 points, they could give you maybe 20. So finding that it's become much more important to kind of find that diamond in the rough. The other one I would point out here in terms of the pickup that I'm most upset about because I lost out on was Jacksonville defense. They played fantastic, and they have, like you said, a really good, although Houston always plays better than you kind of expect, but we have a really good schedule, so good pickup of Walter. All right, let us move to our next segment. We are going to, because of popular demand.
Can I just say one quick thing about Fab, though, too? So,
what if I said no? Would you stop talking?
Negative. No, you can't.
I'm going to do it. So, I mean,
the
value of the dollar spent today is worth more than tomorrow, right? I mean, so let's just say things pan out with me and the dollars that I put towards Trevor Lawrence.
He's lost it. Okay.
I know, but I'm just saying. Every week that I have Trevor Lawrence on my roster now is just it just makes the value of that much better, right? Than if I wait until week 8 or whatever and pick him up. So I think that's just something I like to consider when I'm spending my fab money. Yes, it's important to have money left over at the end of the season, but you got to make the playoffs first. You know what I mean? So let's get there. Right now, my team's 1-3, so I'm looking to spend that money if I can. And
I don't know that there's. I think we all think let's save our money for that really big, running back injury,
right?
And half the time that guy's already on someone's bench. BGV drafted him and hasn't looked at his team for 6 weeks and
you
just
try
gets
to
lucky.
and you save that money all year for that to happen, and you finally go to spend that money, and then someone like a Vranek or whoever that doesn't spend any money regardless
$100. Yeah.
Right.
outbids you. So like
Right.
you might as well. I've tried
Yeah.
to use my money, like Gio was saying, earlier in the season, so you have these guys throughout the whole year.
Absolutely.
Right.
All right. We are going to our next segment. Back by popular demand, we are going to do Sweat It or Forget It again. We're going to do it a little bit differently than last time. So these are going to be a mixture of guys that's either started really well and have not been doing well the last couple weeks, or the exact opposite. They were kind of crap the first couple weeks. They've done really well recently, and the question is, are you confident in them? Forget about it. Don't even worry about it. Or sweat it. I wouldn't trust them. We got to keep an eye on them. That type of thing. I'm going to say a name. You guys just yell out what you think. I don't know what's happening with Landon, but we're going to do one guy from each team. We're going to start with my team. I quit Pitts. Michael Pittman, who started week 1 really well, had an injury. Since then has had high target volume, but kind of crap. Chris, we'll start with you. Sweat it or forget about it. He's good to go the rest of the way.
I'd say sweat it. I was going to touch on this a little bit more in the podcast, but
This is the podcast.
I'm not.
Part
Sorry.
We're recording.
Live, right? We're recording.
Holy shit! He thinks we're not recording.
Oh, we're on. Get my pants. I'm just not. I'm not sold on the Colts. Honestly, their offense has been terrible. Like you said, Grossman, he hasn't done a whole lot, so I'd pass on him.
Okay, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm sweating this one a little bit. I actually heard something too. This was interesting to me because I heard this and I kind of took me by surprise. But apparently Matt Ryan likes to throw against man-to-man
boys.
He prefers that. Okay, and I guess Pittman isn't really a man-to-man. That's not where he really thrives. I guess he's more like find the soft spot in the zone, and that's where he really racks it all up, and he's able to do a lot of his damage. So they're not meshing. I know we saw it in week 1, but I guess that's part of what I heard as to why maybe we've seen some struggles in recent weeks, and then in addition to the injury. So I'm sweating this one a little bit. Hey, you're not going to trade him after week 1 after he goes off, right? But it seems right now like that was the time to really sell high on him. I think you could have got quite a bit. Coming back.
Landon agreed. Sweat it. Or...
No, I'm actually going to forget about it. I mean, I'm just he's
just wanted to say it.
I did. I mean, obviously he hasn't done well lately, but he's the clear number 1 alpha wide receiver on a team. Matt Ryan has been a disappointment thus far, but I would put him on your bench. I mean, if you dropped him, I bet you there would be a bidding war for Pittman. So,
absolutely.
I mean, I'd put him on the bench and make him think what he's doing. Make him accountable for his actions before he gets back in that lineup.
Yeah.
Okay. Next guy, Gabe Davis. We'll go around the horn again. Chris, sweat it or forget about it?
I'd forget about it. Well, forget about it.
There you go. Worst guest ever. If he was like, I would forget about it.
Guys, let's forget about it and all be friends. No, I'd say forget about it. I have.
So you're confident?
In another league. Yeah, I'm confident in him. He hasn't. Was he hurt last 2 weeks?
He missed 2 games ago. Came back last week.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't know. He came out swinging the first week. Yeah. Obviously, he slowed down with the injury, but I'm confident. Obviously, he's on a good team. Great offense. So I'd forget about it.
Jeff?
Forget about it. I mean, this guy is the 1B in this offense. I'm not even talking like he's the B. He's number 2. He's the 1B. And now with McKenzie going out because of a bit of an injury, I think it's a concussion, if I'm not mistaken. So who knows if he's coming back right away. I really like him. I think we'll see another score out of him this week, a big week out of him against Pittsburgh.
Landon, agree?
I agree. Forget about it.
I agree with you guys. The one thing I heard, maybe we have the same source, Jeff, is that the reason Gabe Davis might struggle more is because teams are doing that too high safety that we saw a lot of against teams like Kansas City last year. And so you're really just using Gabe Davis as a decoy almost and opening up that middle area. But agree. I think last week was because of injury.
4 touchdowns in one game. right? So I mean, his ceiling is uber high. Like you just gotta, it's gonna come. Like there are gonna be monster games coming from this guy.
Yeah, definitely. Next guy from Chris's team, Fournette. Chris, how are you feeling about him? Sweat it or forget about it?
Honestly,
Feels like
I'm
you're
on the
not going to
fence.
say forget about it.
I'm not going to say forget about it. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready to sweat
see
it.
it so clearly.
I see the perspiration dripping down his brow.
You see the reflection in my tears. I don't know. I'm not sold on Tampa Bay in general. Obviously, hell, you got Brady out there getting a divorce or whatever is going on. So I don't.
What's up with that team?
Yeah.
What's it mean for Florida? The economy.
I mean, somehow he had 15 points last game off 3 carries and negative 3 yards. So
Caught a bunch.
you don't know what to expect. I'm still riding him though. Obviously he's out there. He's going to get points, but I was not nearly as high when I drafted him.
Yep, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, this is a sweat it for me. This is again, this is hot. Okay, I think we saw -3 rushing yards. Yeah, we saw a little work in the receiving game, and yeah, it was probably game script related. But we did see Rashad White get a lot of run towards the end of that game or during that game, right? And I think this is only things that we're going to come. Fournette's a little bit older, and I think injury is always a little bit more of a concern for him at this point. So I am sweating this a little bit.
Landon?
Yeah, I got it's a mild sweat. It's a little a mist, if you may. I do think, and I hope, because I picked Rashad White up before the game the other night. But I hope that Rashad White gets a little bit more involved, and I agree with everything that's been said. I'm not really sold on Tampa Bay this year like I was.
Could be what your team needs to get out of a little slump here.
Maybe.
There you go. Next guy. Now I want you to before I say his name, I want you to change your sort of threshold for sweat or forget it. It's more of a, do you think this guy, we might see more improvement in what we saw last week from this guy, not necessarily a don't worry about it, put him in your lineup all the time. From Olave's team, Matt Fender and Mooney, we thought we were going to get a kind of a pretty solid wide receiver 2 when we drafted him, I think. He was crap. He had I think a big bomb last week that kind of made his week. What do you guys think? Don't expect anything from him moving forward, or could we see a little bit of fantasy worth there? Chris?
I would definitely sweat it. Obviously, the Bears aren't doing the greatest this year, and I just don't trust Fields. Like you said, Grossman, I think he had 56-yard reception. That made up the majority of his yards last week. I just don't see him sustaining or getting better throughout the year.
Yep, or Jeff?
Yeah, it's a bad team led by Justin Fields that is looking lost out there. So am I sweating this? Absolutely. This is bad. I mean, I don't know how I cannot give you a long-term outlook on the rest of the season for this guy, but it's bad. I mean, they're obviously trying to force him the ball. He is the alpha. They're going to be playing from behind, so he's probably going to get some targets from playing from behind, but I would sweat this a lot. Absolutely. I think he's droppable, borderline.
Len?
Yeah, I mean, all my points, they're all being taken.
We'll start with you. All right. We'll start with you moving forward. See how it is.
Maybe.
Just stop coughing. All right. Next one from your own team. Melvin Gordon. Sweat it or forget it. Landon, we'll start with you.
Like, I was a little torn on this. Because he's fumbling the ball? That's why.
Like the sweated part of it? Should I go to someone else?
Yeah. Let's go.
Landon, you need get a Shirley Temple.
Where's the cough reduction button from the line? Chris. To answer Landon's question, the sweat it part would be the fumbling, the age and injuries, the fact that Denver has just not been very good.
Yep.
Honestly, I mean, I think they're going to give the other guys a chance with as much fumbling as he's been doing. Why wouldn't they give him a chance at this point? So I would say definitely sweat it for Melvin.
Okay, Landon, you ready?
Yeah, I think so. I'm gonna forget about it. I think I've read something. I don't know if it was the coach or the offensive coordinator that said that clearly Gordon is the one there. So I'm hoping that he is and get back to his form. I mean, he was really solid last year, so
That's
hopefully
great.
he can continue that this year, being the one.
Jeff?
Yeah, forget about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is basically, he's going to have the run. Mike Boone, sure, he's coming in. He's going to get some run, too. I know he has fumbled 5 times going back in his last 5 games, so going back to last year. That's no fun. You got to hold on to the football. If he doesn't, Mike Boone's going to be the next man up, and they're not going to hesitate to put him in there because ball security is a priority for these coaches. But at this point in time, you got to roll him out there. He's definitely going to put himself in position to do work this week, and we'll see what happens with the ball security.
All right, next one. BJV from BJV's team. Derrick Henry started off the first 2 games pretty piss poor, but has been pretty dominant the last 2 games. Landon, sweat it or forget about it?
Yeah, this is a forget about it. Easy forget about it. The last 2
The
games.
energy level from Landon is just forget it.
Well, with Derrick Henry, it's easy. He's had 2 huge weeks the last 2 weeks, both over 22 fantasy points. So he has proven to be the solid top pick that he should have been.
Chris?
Forget about it.
Jeff?
100%. Yeah, he's picking up
Oh.
teams. So
There you go.
I got one question for you guys. Is a Lincoln better than a Cadillac? Forget about it, right? So, yeah, no, absolutely. Derrick Henry is getting the run, and we're finally seeing him. The one thing that we've always wanted to see is getting some receptions in the passing game. And so he's really taking on a little bit more of a role, a volume role that we'd like to see. He's going to have another monster week this week. Count on it.
Book it.
All right. Book it.
Book it.
We'll go quick for these last 4. From Brian's team, Curtis Samuel, sweat it or forget it. Landon.
Curtis Samuel, forget about it. He's still the number 1 guy there in terms of targets. Dotson is now hurt for at least a week or 2. So Curtis Samuel's going to soak up those. I mean, Dotson wasn't getting a ton of targets, but more for Samuel.
So something.
4 touchdowns,
Chris?
I think, right?
Yeah.
forget about it. Yeah, like I said, he's number 1 guy, and sticking with him, baby.
Jeff?
Sometimes forget about it just means forget about it. So, yeah, I agree completely with all the points that have already been said. Moving on.
All right. Nice. From Walter's team, Garrett Wilson was a monster until Zach Wilson came back last week, and then he was just So, Landon, sweat it or forget about it?
I'm sweating this one a little bit outside of that the week 2 blow-up game that he's had. He's been very average, and he's competing with Elijah Moore there. So a little bit, that hype train has slowed down a little bit.
Okay, Chris?
Yeah, I'd sweat it too with Wilson coming back. I don't think we really know how that dynamic is going to play out, so I'd be a little worried.
Jeff?
There's something my wife tells me all the time. You're wrong. You're both wrong. Forget about it. All right? And here's why.
She's
Corey
saying like
Davis
that?
just went down, okay? He's
Who's
got
the other
he's
person
got
where
a
she's
broken
saying you're
ankle,
both wrong?
okay? Corey Davis just went down with a broken ankle, so we're going to start to see a little bit more run here out of Wilson.
Hey, Grossman, can you vet that real quick?
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's true.
A broken ankle?
There is no way I would have heard that.
I think you're just making stuff up. All right, we'll take him for his word.
Hey, Rolance, when you go back and edit this, can you put
Producer.
like a little like crazy
Yeah.
sign?
A question mark? I love question mark.
Next one from Jeff's team. We'll start with Jeff. Devonta Smith, sweat it or forget it. Jeff.
Yeah, this is no, I'm sorry. I'm looking up Corey Davis. I'm looking up Corey Davis' injury status. Anyways, this is forget about it. This is forget about it, guys. All right, this is Meatballs in the marinara, forget about it.
Landon.
He's going to have up and down games. You know, it's going to be volatile, but he's in what appears to be probably one of the best offenses in the league right now. The way that Philly's just rolling teams. So look, yes, he's the number 2 as far as the wide receiver goes, and I accept that. But as a flex option, I think he's a solid play.
All right. Landon?
The upside is too good.
Yeah, there's a forget about it. This is what, I mean, wide receivers are a little bit more inconsistent anyways, but this just seems to be, I was a Devonta Smith owner last year. This is what he does. He's just a roller coaster type of player. You got to stick him. You just got to put him in your lineup and hope to get that boom week, because as soon as you sit him, you get that boom week, and then you're fucked anyway. So.
Yep. Chris?
Yeah, I mean, last week, this one cut me real deep, considering I dropped him, and I was an idiot and drafted him and A.J. Brown, which you guys told me I was an idiot, so thank you for...
I thought it looked like a great move after, the first few weeks.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to play, most likely not going to play 2 wide receivers, so I couldn't hold on to him. But I'd say forget about it. He's going to have up and down weeks. He's on a hell of an offense, and they're going to be distributing that ball all around.
All right. Last one, and we can be quick about this one, from Walter's team, Allen Robinson. Sweat it or forget it. Jeff?
Sweat it. This guy's dead. Drop him.
Yeah. So,
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. From Moreau's team. Landon?
Yeah, sweat it. He sucks.
Chris?
Sweat it. He's terrible.
All right. Moving on. Landon, we're going to go back to you. What is the name of your segment? What did we figure out?
I think we just did say what?
Okay. So, Landon, will you...
I was the only one that voted.
I know, so you win. That's what we're going with.
All right, there we go. Landon,
All right,
take it away.
So this week I dedicated the 3 categories. There will be one person in each category from our guest's team. So I went first category, quarterback, and this is for the last 2 weeks. So Kyler Murray or Geno Smith. So more passing yards. Geno Smith or Kyler Murray last 2 weeks.
Geno Smith.
Geno Smith.
Geno.
That is all correct. 645 to 521.
It's a beast.
More rushing yards. Geno Smith or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
Kyler.
Geno.
It is actually Geno Smith, 48 to 34. Which is shocking, because that's a big reason why you draft Kyler Murray, is to get those rushing yards.
He's been getting a lot of the goal line touches recently.
Yep. More total touchdowns. Geno or Kyler?
Like every rushing
Total.
year. Yeah.
Yep.
Geno, man, he's been balling
Geno.
out.
Yeah.
I'd say Kyler.
It is Geno, 5 to 3. And last one, more fantasy points.
Over
Geno.
the last 2?
Last 2
Geno.
weeks.
Probably Geno, yeah.
It is Geno, 50.
Just said he had more
26,
rushing yards, more touchdowns,
32.
more air yards. Like,
Yeah.
how can you not have more fantasy points?
There you go.
Landon, we're gonna tell you how your segment needs to go. All right. Keep going.
Running back, I went Clyde Edwards-Helaire or CMC. More rushing yards.
CMC.
CMC.
CEH?
CMC, 135 to 92. More receiving yards.
CH.
CMC.
CMC.
CMC, 88 to 41. More total touchdowns.
CH.
EH.
CEH.
CH, 3 to 1. And then
Are we still doing the last 2 weeks, or is this?
This is last 2
season?
weeks.
Okay.
And more fantasy points.
CEH.
CH.
CEH.
It is very close. CH, 34.3 to 33.8. And then last one, Marquise Brown or Cooper Kupp.
Ooh.
Cup.
Well,
Give
more
me Cup.
receiving.
I'll give Cup on all 3 categories. Well, yeah, I'll take Cup on every category, unless there's a
All right.
touchdown category.
More receiving yards.
Cup. Oh, man. Marquise had Brown had 150
No.
yards. Marquise
Yeah,
Brown.
I'd say Brown.
Yeah, he's had a lot of receiving yards.
This
Marquise Brown.
small sample size is throwing me off.
Marquise Brown. More receptions.
Cup.
Cup.
Brown. For
Brown,
fun.
20 to 18.
Woo!
More
Get it.
touchdowns.
I don't know.
Brown. Brown.
Cup maybe
Brown.
had one.
1-0.
Ooh,
And then more
Brown.
fantasy points.
Brown.
Brown, he had that big game.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brown, 38.8 to 33.6.
All right.
That's it. I'm trading Cup. This is ridiculous.
Right.
Exactly. That's the whole point of this segment.
Yep, there it is.
Landon, thank you so much. All right, we're going to do week 4 review, and then we are going to have 2 penalties for the Hickam penalties, so that's going to be fun. All right, we will start with Chris, Mr. 4-0, the only undefeated team in first place.
Yeah, buddy.
Destroyed Walter. I believe you had high score by quite a bit for the week. Chris, we'll start
And a
with
lot
you.
of points on his bench, too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did he? Well, now you're making me do work. I don't like to.
We'll talk about that later on.
Okay, sure.
Show.
Chris, for Hawkinson, his performance occurred when there was no Swift, no Amon, and against a pretty Seattle defense. Once Swift and or Amon come back, whatever week that is, does Hawkinson have a chance of keeping this up, or are we going to see kind of more of what we saw at the beginning of the year and last year?
I don't think he's going to keep up the last game. The last game was he was out of control. He is getting 7+ targets in the last 3 or 4 games, but his yardage overall isn't there. Whether or not he has a good week is kind of touchdown dependent, but he does have New England coming up, who is terrible against tight end. They're 28th. Then they have a bye, Dallas, who's number 1, Miami, who's 24th, and Green Bay, who's number 1. So it's going to be interesting the next couple weeks. Yeah, I know, it's weird against tight ends. There's actually 4, I think.
Maybe they're all tied.
I don't know. Yeah, but so it's going to be back and forth. But overall, I know realistically he's not going to do what he did this past week. So
Okay. Landon, moving forward, who do you trust more, Jacobs or CEH?
I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs on this one. Everyone wanted to kind of stay away from him in drafts this year. And it seems that Rowlands had the right idea in drafting him. He played 89% of the snaps last week. He's at 72% on the season, which is 5th in the NFL for running backs. So he's getting a ton of work. And then he's gotten 5 catches in each of his last 2 weeks. So he's catching the ball a lot too. So he's a workhorse over there. And CEH is just extremely reliant on touchdowns right now. And that's bound to regress a little bit. And then he just has a little bit more competition, I feel, than Jacobs has, with Pacheco coming on more, it seems, and then also Jerick McKinnon. So I'm going to go with Jacobs.
Okay. Jeff, for Walter's team, is Higgins going to end up being sort of the better pick out of him and Chase at the end of the season? Is he going to have more points?
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt. I got to just.
It's not interrupting.
I disagree
asked your
for Landon. I'm
question.
just saying, like CEH played 43 snaps in the last game, okay, and Pacheco and McKinnon both played 17, themselves. And McKinnon had been leading, but I don't see McKinnon as being a factor like moving forward. Maybe Pacheco late in the rest of the season, but yeah, I think CEH owns this backfield right now. I'm sorry, Grossman. Can you repeat the question?
so polite.
First, I'll make a point. I think if this wasn't CEH and it was a different, let's say it was a rookie running back or just nameless player A, and we saw the efficiency that he had and the snap percentage, you'd be like, I can't wait for this player to play more, and he's going to just destroy. Look at what he's doing off of the sort of the snaps that he's getting right now. I think CH has sort of tainted his name, and if he plays the way he's playing, I mean, I'd take him over Jacobs. Jeff, the question was basically Higgins or Chase rest of the season.
Yeah, I got you. Thank you. So it's just going to be. It's such a luxury for Cincinnati to have both these guys on their team, okay? Because the way the defenses choose to scheme and play against these guys right now, you're seeing Chase with double coverage. You obviously can't double cover everybody, right? So that leaves somebody one-on-one, and that happens to be Higgins right now. So as soon as we see, teams start gravitating towards Higgins, then Chase is going to burn him, right? And I can't predict what it's going to be each week moving forward. I think you just plug both guys in your lineup and hope that it's their week. But right now, I mean, let's say this: going against Baltimore this week. Look at the games that Chase had last year against Baltimore. They were monsters, so I would certainly feel comfortable rolling out Chase, and I think he's going to regress towards the mean. We're going to see bigger games to come from him moving forward.
Okay. Next matchup, Bryden's Touch Nation beat BJV. It was a pretty close one. Bryden is now in second place at 3-1. Chris, for BJV, Taylor has a high ankle sprain. He didn't get injured until the fourth quarter, and he's still, for the 3+ quarters that he played, he only had 42 yards rushing on 20 rush attempts. I know we're all going to talk about the injury, and if he comes back and has a bad game, it'll be, well, he's still getting over the injury. But are you concerned with how Taylor's performed this year, even when he's back to full health?
I mean, yeah, I guess it is about the injury, the turf toe, but the problem is, I think the bigger problem is the Colts offense. Obviously, it's going to be hard for Taylor to replicate what he did last year regardless, having a hell of a year, but the Colts offense is so bad. I didn't even know this. Ryan has had, Matt Ryan, 5 interceptions, and he fumbled 9 times. I think he's only lost 3 of them, but still, 9 times. I guess their O-line has allowed 33 QB hits. So I don't think it's a matter of Taylor regressing. I think their offense, they can't get to the red zone to give him the opportunities he had last year.
Yep. Jeff, and I'm sorry, it was, at the time I was doing the research, it was thought to be a high ankle sprain, but you're right, it's toe trip. Jeff, for Bryden's
I thought
team,
it was both.
Was it both? Oh, well, then he's fucked. Just cut him.
Yeah.
Jeff, for Bryden's
ankle.
team. Yeah. We're just spreading rumors. Penny went off, but it was against the
Heard it here first, folks.
Detroit defense. Is this just the case of every running back that goes against Detroit's defense is going to just blow up, or is Penny a solid fantasy player?
Look, I don't think we ever doubted the talent that Rashad Penny had. It's always kind of an injury bug with him, right? So he'd get his run, and then all of a sudden he goes down with an injury. So I personally think it's only a matter of time before we see that with him. He had a great game against what is, probably a suspect defense, especially against the run at this point. But I will say this. The reason why is because of Geno Smith's play. He has just been balling out, and he's able to stretch the defense. They have to make sure they cover the deep pass, which then takes more men out of the box as a result. And we're seeing some significant plays in the running game as a result of not being able to stack the box.
Yep. Landon, Bryden has a lot of good, decent players on his team. Part of the problem there is you have to pick the right player to be starting and to be benching. So I want you to grade his performance over the last couple of weeks. In week 3, Bryden correctly started Singletary and Metcalf and Michael Thomas and benched the other guys. In this week, he benched those guys and started Penny, Samuel, and Dortch. Obviously, Penny blew up. The other guys didn't give him much. So what would you give his what grade would you give him for choosing the right guys?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to go with a good old solid B here for good old Bryden. I mean, he's winning. He's 3-1 at this point, so he's doing pretty well. And you just have to, really look at, since we have a deep team, you look at the matchups, see who's got the best matchup. What I like to do is look at the over-unders too, to see if there's going to be a higher scoring game than some of the others and play more players on that team. So,
Pro tip.
Yeah, just definitely play the matchups. All you can do.
Next matchup. I'm in my, sorry, not to go find the right one. Just skip one. I'm all over the place. All right. Child Plays versus I Quit Pits. It was a very close one, and I complained pretty much the entire time to Landon. I was like, I'm going to lose.
Fantasy sucks. Why do I do this?
That's what I said. Those were quotes. 111 to 104. Chris, what is your take on Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, I would say he's fucking terrible. How's that? He's ranked 21st, I think, for tight ends. He's only catching 2.5 catches per game. He is second behind Drake London for targets, but he's only catching 45% of those. It's kind of like earlier with Taylor and Ryan. Mariota, he completed, I think, 7 passes that game.
Yep.
He's got more interceptions than he does touchdowns. So I don't know what's going on with Pitts, but I would not keep riding him. Yeah, I wouldn't keep riding him all year. If you have better options or can pick him up, I'd do it now.
Jeff, did you have something you wanted to say?
Yeah, I got this, guys. This is a forget about it, all right? So listen, we're seeing Pitts more in line than we did last season, okay, than out of the slot, all right? So this season he's been lining up in line for basically blocking purposes 32% of the time, Last season, we saw him in line 32% of the time, the slot 37% of the time, and out wide 31% of the time. This year, it's really the reverse of that, where he's in line 38% of the time, slot 31% of the time, and out wide 31% of the time. I guess my theory on this is that we're seeing him line up for blocking detail is because Marcus Mariota being the quarterback back there. And he's really struggling, honestly. Let's just call it what it is. So they feel like they need to protect him a little bit better, and that's what they're choosing to do as a result. And so I personally think better games are ahead. Again, I'm forgetting about it, but this is my theory on why we're seeing a little bit more down.
But you don't get points for blocking.
Yeah, I saw a very good video.
Not in our
earlier
fantasy.
today.
We should look to add that in there.
No, right? I saw a very good video, and I apologize because I can't remember the guy's name, but that showed that it's basically whatever their coach's name is he just knows Mariota, like you said, he needs blocking, but he also has like the highest play action rate in the league by far. And the reason, and it all comes down to basically they have to have misdirection in order to free up anybody and have Mariota have a very quick pass to be able to avoid pressure because he sucks under pressure. And so they basically use Pitts as a decoy going, one way on a play action. They'll have another tight end who you wouldn't expect to be targeted going the other, and that guy ends up being open for 5 yards. And they just have to constantly have all of this misdirection where Pitts ends up either blocking or being a decoy to be able to have a catch be made by someone who's half open. So I will trade him to you, Jeff. I think you wanted to get rid of Cup, right? Landon. Yep, there we go. Props to you for picking up Higbee. That was a great pickup. And I don't remember who it was that dropped him, but that was
Rolands did.
Roland.
Did I really?
Ouch.
I don't know,
Probably.
but that was not a good pickup. So
I got Hawkinson, so it's good.
You're set at tight end. RB, it's a little scary. So what's your thinking on how you're going to remedy that?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much you can do. I just got to hope that Melvin Gordon pans out to be my number one for a little bit. James Conner, hopefully he has a touchdown. Was it not regression? Regression to the mean, I guess.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah, I mean, he should score more touchdowns. Hopefully the offense gets better. Hopkins is coming back in a few weeks, so hopefully that improves that team a little bit. There's really not much to be had on waivers with running back, so I got Hunt on my bench, Dillon on my bench, Rachaad White hopefully can come into play, so it's got to be patient. They're decent pieces. I just got to hope that they pan out.
Patience isn't really your strong suit.
It is not.
Jeff, with the rookie quarterback, what do you think Deontay's value is moving forward?
Yeah, I honestly say this guy's trending down, in my opinion. I think Pickens and him really seem to click out there. And certainly Claypool hasn't been doing much as a receiver out there. So, yeah, Deontay's not going away, don't get me wrong. But I just think Pickens is a superstar on the rise here, and he's a bit of a diva for what we saw in Georgia. But that being said, I think we're going to see a lot of run here down the stretch for George Pickens.
Is that
Okay.
is that because you have George Pickens?
I'm excited to have him on my roster. Absolutely.
I looked to see where he was. I'm like, oh damn it, Jeff's got him.
All right, moving on. Olave. See, I'm all out of order now. There we go. Matt won again. This one he actually deserved to win against Admore. Chris for Bino, you. Let me open up the bench. There's a lot of injuries that he's having to deal with, but there's also guys who are underperforming. How do you feel about guys like ETN, Bateman, Waller?
Yeah, out of all three of these guys, the only one I'm feeling good about is Bateman. ETN, I think Robinson is gonna be outplaying him at every step. He's gotten 14 red zone touches to ATN's 8, I believe it is. 30% of the market share compared to ATN's 16. So Robinson's going to be getting that ball almost twice as much as ATN is. And Waller, I think it was Landon, was hitting on Jacobs earlier there at the Raiders. He's already behind Adams and Hollins as far as receptions, target share. I think he's getting 4 catches per game. I don't see him the guy he was in, 2020 when he just blew up 9 touchdowns. I just don't see him getting back to that point. Unfortunately, there's with Jacobs doing well, and obviously you got Adams there. I think they're just not going to go towards him as much as what they did in the past.
Yep. Jeff for Fender, who is the better fantasy receiver rest of the season, Olave or London?
This is a tough question. I guess
Why we pay you the big
I
bucks.
lean. Yeah. I guess I lean Olave, and that's strictly because I'm thinking more along the lines of who's throwing the ball to him, right? And that's where I stand. I mean, Michael Thomas kind of in and out of the lineup, as we've seen. Landry is too a little bit dinged up. So, yeah, I guess I'm leaning Chris Olave on this one.
Okay. Landon Finder's had some very solid waiver wire pickups this season. He's picked up Gallup, Olave, Brian Robinson, and Wilson. Olave and Wilson have already proved to be big contributors. Who is going to be the successful pickup out of Robinson or Gallup? Or who's going to be more successful?
Out of those two, I'm going to go with Gallup. He should be the number 2 option in Dallas. Cooper Rush has been playing well, but Dak will be back soon. So that should be, I would say, an improvement to that offense. And then, I mean, just Gallup has been a successful NFL player in the past. With Robinson, he's good, but he's on a bad offensive team. With Carson Wentz, he's in a 3-way committee with Gibson and McKissick. He's supposedly not the pass-catching back there. So,
Still going to be McKissick.
What's that?
Absolutely. It's still going to be McKissick.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That role is not leaving McKissick whatsoever.
Yeah. So, I mean, with just the role the situation that team will probably be in, trailing more, I just don't see a very high ceiling for Robinson.
Yep. All right.
How much better, real quick, how much better do you think they'll be with Dak?
I mean, they're undefeated with Cooper Rush, so I don't.
That's what I mean. What's he going to do differently? I wonder.
I don't know. You just would think Dak was a better quarterback than Cooper Rush, but maybe not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Last matchup. Moreau won this one against our very own Jeff. Jeff took a bad beat with Javonte Williams being injured for the year. Chris, last year, I'm talking over myself. Last year, Jeff had pretty damn good luck with his champion team and the health there. He's lost Swift for a number of games now, and Javonte's gone for the season. Looking at Jeff's current team, does he have enough talent depth to keep this season alive? Just say no.
Dun, dun,
He does.
dun.
I know you guys have hit on this on past episodes. It's a matter of his team being consistent enough to where he knows who to start. You know, it's kind of, as you've seen, I think this week, Jeff, I think you had 16 or 66 points on your bench, which
Yeah, but I had
is
98
killer.
in my lineup.
No,
and
you
you,
had
and you
95.
lost.
Oh.
So I don't know. You know, I think it'll be interesting to see with your quarterback. You know, with Lawrence going in now, I think you've had what, 3 quarterbacks over, well, will be 5 weeks. Is that right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Do you know the only team that had more points on their bench?
Oh, you.
You. Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. I had 72.
But you put up
Yeah.
161.
No, I mean, look, Harris is going to have to be the guy. He's going to step up. He's going to move right into that lineup. I love the fact that I got Pierce, so I'm going to be rolling with him as well. Look, I got depth. You know, I'm not.
So you don't
worried.
feel no feeling like you need to trade one of your big players like Cup.
Top guys. Hey, look. I mean, it crossed my mind to trade Cup right away. I mean, can I was actually maybe thinking of throwing out a couple trades out there to you both, you Grossman and Landon, because I was, as we were on the air here, to see if maybe one of you would bite. But again, it's going to have to be like probably a 2-for-1 package, and I'm looking to probably get let's say Landon a Jefferson or a Chase with maybe somebody else for a Cooper Cup. Would you be interested in something like that?
I'd be interested for
Like a
sure.
Rashad White, maybe, if we threw in like a Justin Jefferson and a Rashad White for a Cooper Cup?
That's
we need an answer.
That
We
should
need
be
an
a
answer.
slam yes.
Yeah, I would probably do that. Yeah.
Yeah, see, so I was kind of looking through these, and look,
Is he
Cooper
just
Kupp might-
teasing? He's just like, I'm not going to offer that.
I just wanted to see
Yeah.
if he'd bite a little bit.
I thought you were going to go more because this is one of those prime examples of you have a guy in Swift who's not going to be playing for, I think, probably the next 3 weeks. But you know how talented he is after that. You find a guy like Rolands who's in prime spot to be able to sit Swift on his bench and has so many wins that it doesn't matter if it hurts him. And you get enough talent in that trade back that you are able to pull out some wins. But I agree that I think you also have enough depth here that
Javante, like, obviously that sucks losing Javante for the year, but he hasn't been that great to this point. So it's not like you're
Right.
losing a Cooper Cup, for example. So
yeah.
Right. I mean, I think I might, though. I'm a little concerned about the volume, honestly. I mean, Cooper Kupp's great. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact he's catching, 10, 12 balls a game and stuff like that. Those points add up. But can he sustain that volume through the entire season? And, tackles,
Yes.
I know, it scares me a little bit. I think he's like 29 years old. So,
Yeah. Landon for Moreau, I couldn't come up with any questions. You got any thoughts?
yeah, I just think he needs to kind of work the waiver wire a little bit, which he did.
yes, he's playing
I
the
mean,
defense against Chicago. Whatever
he
defense
did.
Chicago's playing.
Minnesota?
He always pays $5 for his
Oh,
defense,
gotcha.
so keep that in mind if you're bidding on a defense.
That's what beat me this past week. His
That's
defense.
why I bid $6 on Green Bay. But he finally dropped Kenny Galladay, so that's a good thing.
Oh, that's good.
Thank you. We told him since week 1 to do that.
He dropped Jameis Winston, his backup quarterback, but then he just picked up Dak, so I don't really understand that much. But he's got some studs with Herbert, Diggs, Barkley, and Kelsey, but then other than that, I mean, his team's not the greatest. So
Yeah, I thought I had this one.
Yeah.
Honestly, looking at this matchup going in, I thought this is going to be just a layup for me, but obviously not.
Yeah. That does it for those. We're going to do, I'm trying to see if I can. Before we let Chris go, we have to do our pick 'em penalties this week. We had a very special 2 of us lost,
just
tied with the
two
loss.
of us.
Landon and myself both lost, so we both have a penalty. I cannot get this stupid thing to.
It's a long
Okay,
list of
so I know it is. We'll cut it in 2. Release 1 tomorrow. The Halloween costume is gone. Landon, what is your pick for what penalty you're going to do? And then we should decide who's going first.
Due to
Juju?
my size, that I'm a small boy, I went with the baby
cute.
food dinner.
Okay.
Oh my god!
and there was a little text chain going on what's allowed and what's not allowed. But I went with creamy vegetables with chicken, which should be absolutely fucking disgusting.
Yes.
Oh my god!
And then I also got another one, pumpkin, zucchini, and apple. I don't like pumpkin or zucchini that much, so that should also be
Are
pretty
you mixing
fun.
them?
No, I'll do one at a time.
I'm going to do the
Yeah.
hot pepper. I'm going to unshare
My
the
son
screen.
loves that pumpkin zucchini apple. Let me tell you, man, he slams that.
Landon,
down.
do you want to go first?
Sure, if you want me to, or we can do it at the same time.
No, you go first, and then instead of doing an actual hot pepper, I have Scorpion Disco, which is from the Hot Ones. It is one of the hottest sauces and a chicken wing. So I will get this ready while you do your baby food.
All right, I think this chicken one's going to be worse, so I'm going to do that
Are
first.
you going to eat both of them, like the entire thing?
That's the plan.
Baby food dinner.
Start throwing
You gotta
up.
swallow. You gotta swallow.
Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck up, fuck up.
Oh my god.
It can't be that bad.
Jeff, have you tasted these before? You had.
Dude, that
You
is
seemed to know that they were going to be terrible.
that is the
I had
worst
no
thing.
idea.
I can't do that one. I can't.
What about the other one?
You gotta finish the other pouch, then, man. You gotta finish the.
Which one is?
That's not good, but it's 1,000 times freaking better than that chicken one. I'll finish this one.
All right. I'm going to do the hot pepper challenge again. I put a shit ton of this very, very hot. It has like a, whatever the scale is, 680,000, which is not. And then I have a glass of milk.
Ooh.
Hey, you can't be taking that milk too soon. I want to see some serious burn here.
No, this is going to
Look at that kitty. He or she wants to see it.
Oh my god, it hurts so bad. You need to get it. My tongue is on fire.
On fire.
Oh, now everything is.
Did you cook up?
I
these
would
chicken-
never.
Did you cook up these
Huh?
chicken wings tonight?
I got Buffalo Wild wings. Ah. The problem? I can't even talk. The problem is, when I have spicy food, all of the liquids come out. So my nose starts running. I seem to start getting the hiccups. I'm so my wife, Becca's laughing in the background. Okay.
Odd with the hiccups. What is up with that?
I don't know. I think that's new. I've never actually. This doesn't help at all. Oh my god. Okay.
Well, our host can't talk
Jesus.
anymore, so that's not good.
Yeah, no, it's fine. We'll continue. I can't use my tongue. Okay. All right, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
You know
Way to
what?
go on the start of the
Time to do
season,
this stuff. We
man.
gotta edit
I
the
know.
show down.
Oh my god.
Already at an hour. We gotta cut this down.
You're muted, Boo.
Oh, boy.
buddy. I can't even talk.
I'm muted. Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks for having me on. If you guys have any need any advice to winning or trades, let me know.
Yeah. Send my fan mail my way.
Okay. The hate mail.
Yeah. All right.
All right, guys.
All
Later.
right. We'll see you later,
Later.
man.
I should have sent the rest of this to you guys, so you can do the talking. All right, pick 'em.
Dude, that chicken
Challenge for this week. I might have to text you guys this stuff to read out. I can't talk. Waller versus Kansas City or Pitts versus Tampa Bay?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Waller.
Big game for Waller on Monday Night Football, I think. Let's go.
I'll go Waller. Damian Harris versus Detroit or Jamal Williams against New England?
Gotta be Harris. Putting them in
I'm
there with
gonna go-
confidence this week.
Yeah, I'll go Harris as well.
I'll go Jamal Williams. Barkley against Green Bay or Chubb versus the Chargers? I can't talk.
Yeah, give me some Barkley versus Green Bay. I mean, this guy has put the team on his back and is just been out there balling.
Yeah, I don't like to be agreeing with Geoff every time at this point, but I go with Barkley as well.
Don't want to lose 2-3 weeks in a row, right?
I can't.
We go
Smart to follow.
Barkley. Marquise Brown versus Philly or Olave versus Seattle?
Oh, give me some Olave going against Mr. Michael Jackson.
Landon?
Yeah, Olave. Anytime Geoff drops some cornerback knowledge, I'm going with that. So, Olave.
I'll go Olave. Sanders versus Arizona or Kirk versus Houston?
What's Sanders? Miles.
Miles?
Miles
I
Sanders.
can't stop. This doesn't help.
Or Kirk. I'll go.
Give me
Miles
some
Sanders.
Christian Kirk.
I'll go Kirk. All right, Jeff, your segment. I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah, so just a couple quick ones really here, since I know we're up against the time here. It's been a long episode already, but Love Cup this week. Mike Evans, I think we're looking for a big game out of it this week as well. I think with Brady, I'm kind of leaning that he's going to just come out and ball out this week, given everything that's kind of happened or gone on this week. And he absolutely destroys Atlanta. So Mike Evans, 30 TDs with Brady over the last 2.5 seasons. A couple of downgrades that I don't like. We got Marquise Brown going against Darius Slay. So we got, obviously, the Philadelphia defense. I think it's going to be a down game for them. And then Pittman on Thursday. I'm not in love with him going against Surtain. So, again, it's just one of those guys I'm looking to avoid on a week-to-week basis. So I think you roll him out there if he's on your roster, but don't expect too much.
All right, Jeff, thanks. Sorry for making that short. Appreciate
It's
the
okay.
knowledge. We're going to make this short, too. We'll just go through the matchups this week, and all I want from you guys is who is going to win.
Oh, I did say I was going to give one running back downgrade as well. I forgot to do this.
Yeah, please.
Don't love Najee Harris going against that Buffalo defense. They've looked pretty strong out there, and
Najee sucks, too.
Yeah, Najee is not good.
Yeah,
Oh, come on, guys. He's good, but all right.
He's
Anyways,
not good.
his O-line's bad.
He gets the problem.
all right.
That's it.
Who
I
is
think we're
going to
going to see an
win?
improvement now that he doesn't have Mitch back there. Honestly,
Yeah, right.
Yeah. A running QB might take away the touchdowns, but probably opens up the lanes a little bit more with misdirection.
just think about it.
All right.
We got Pickens back there tearing the top off the defense. It's just they're going to stop stacking the box, and then we got obviously Pickett just going to be able to check down to him maybe a little bit more. It's going to be I think a fun offense to watch moving forward. Better offense.
Great.
Time to trade is now. Time to trade for him is now. Moving on.
Ooh, okay.
Maybe might be too late. All right, who is going to win, Chris or Matt? First versus third. Take a second. Teams.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah,
with
give me some crispy taco going to 5-0.
Yep.
Yep, I agree. Next one, and we're just rushing through this because we are going long. Second place, Beastie Nation versus our very own Landon. Who is going to win?
I'm gonna say Bryden.
Big players.
Nope. This is going to be a child please week.
All right.
If he's playing Akers, I'm going to agree with Jeff. I think you got it, Landon. Next matchup, Big Tasty. Where
I
are
love
you?
that three-headed monster you got rolling out there with Jefferson, Dobbs now, and who am I forgetting? Obviously,
Chase?
on Cincinnati Chase. That's
And
sexy.
Kirk.
Kirk, yeah.
Kirk is great.
Yeah, great draft pick.
Throw Kirk in there
Walter.
too. Then we got a deal. Okay.
Walter, he's got talent, but not a lot of it. versus Moreau's Big Tasty. Who is going to take this one?
I'm going Big Tasty.
I got the Danza All-Stars going to take this one today.
I'm going to say if Moreau stays with Allen Robinson and Zeke in there, I'll go with
He's
Walter.
screwed.
Yeah, I'm changing mine to Walter.
All right.
Upset City.
Feel better. And then last one. I think it'll be a good matchup, hopefully. My own I Quit Pits versus Bino's Add More Bench Spots. Who is going to win this one?
I gotta go with add more bench spots on this one. I'm sorry, Grossman. Dig Mike though. I love Mike Williams this week. Oh man.
I'm going with Grossman.
Herbert, Robinson, Pittman.
I think it's
yeah.
cool.
You know what? I
think-
actually like I Quit Pits. I like you this week, Grossman. We got some good matchups here.
I think, Amon and Keenan, I don't think are going to play. So it's really, it comes down to does Kamara do enough? I'm going to take my own, but I think it's going to be a good one. All right, guys, thank you so much.
Hey, we got one more
Apologies
matchup.
for-
We got one more matchup to get to.
We do? Did I miss one?
We'll just take
it
touchdown my
yours?
pants.
Oh, I'm
Touchdown my
sorry about
pants
that.
for the win.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, forget the champ? How do you forget the champ?
All right.
Luck
I
out.
apologize.
Going against Taylor this week.
The best manager. Numero uno, touchdown my pants versus BJB. Mister, I don't look at my roster.
Yeah, I'm going with
Who is going to win? He's missing
touchdown.
Taylor.
Yeah, that hurts. Touchdown.
Jeff, how you feeling? Confident?
I feel good this week. I feel good. Got a little
Who are
luck
you gonna
going
play
with
at
the injury of Taylor being out, so let's go.
All right. I agree. I think you got this one in the
I
bag.
think Williams is
All
going
right.
to get locked up a little bit against New England. New England always
Good
plays
defense.
tough on the road. So, yep, let's do it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. This was fun, but it's long. We'll try to cut it down next time, and hopefully I don't lose because that was
bad.
Good luck this week, and thanks for watching.
Landon, you finished that pouch?
No, absolutely cannot.
Take another swig.
Dude, I can't.
One more swig. One more swig. I'll take another bite of the wing.
Finish it. Let's go. Let me see what you got left.
Dude, I couldn't even swallow one.
I'm talking about the other one. I'm talking about the.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's done.
Come on.
Gone. All right,
Good
finish
job.
one.
Now
Good job.
eat the other one.
I can't. That's a no.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Wait.
Later.